is going to be demonstrating her incredible courage to come up here and share with you her journey through transitioning. She's going to share with you what happened before, during, and after, and what the regrets are now and how she feels about it. So I hope you can understand or imagine just how much courage it takes to come up here and share such an intimate journey with us here today. So please join me in welcoming Kellie.
My name is Kellie. My legal name is Kenneth. You know both my names. Something that's not in my story that I want to mention briefly. Okay, closer to the mic. I was on the Trans Health Program Advisory Committee in 2008 when the research that Dr. Hoff was talking about came out. And what we discussed on that committee was how to suppress further research that would pathologize and marginalize transgender people. That was the response of advocates to that research that said that post-surgery, we started committing suicide. At about 7 years post-surgery, that was the point at which the suicide rates just went up, and they remained up for the entire duration of the surgery. I just wanted to add that. And I need to be brief, so I'm going to have to read this to keep. I'm a 57-year-old woman. I'm a transition regretter. I was born in December 1966, the youngest of my mother's 6 children. In 1969, my mother married a pedophile. Growing up, social events were chaotic. They felt like there were too many sharp edges, bright colors, and loud voices. I moved to Vancouver, BC in the early 2000s. There I encountered transgender ideology and was completely entranced by the fantasy that living my life as a man would make all the awkward feelings go away. In 2004, I began attending Vancouver Coastal Health's Transgender Health Program, their peer support counseling services, their peer support group, and FTEP, etc. Peers further along in the transition process explained to those just starting out how to navigate barriers to access what was then called trans health care. My peer support group told me of someone who would prescribe hormones based on her doctor's referral. I obtained the necessary referral and was prescribed testosterone on my second visit. I was told to expect male normal health outcomes. No one talked about how cross-sex hormones are like burning diesel in a gasoline engine. I now live with diabetes, and I've become aware that women who take testosterone have a higher rate of type 2 diabetes. The peer support group were hyper-focused on the process. Get a carry letter, real-life experience, choose your new name, qualify for surgeries. It was always, after you achieve this next step, you're going to be happy. 2006, I'm 39 years old, I'm 2 years into this process, and my family has no idea what I'm doing. The surgeon who prescribed me testosterone also performed my hysterectomy. I was 3 days in the hospital and then sent home. The first visceral hit from this was realizing that I am now infertile. Peer support was a cult of affirmation-driven indoctrination. My family's grief, remorse, shock, and confusion were all framed as manifestations of their lack of acceptance, transphobia, and intolerance of my autonomy. Routine post-hysterectomy examinations were waived so as not to cause me undue emotional distress. The abdominal pain and discomfort I had begun to experience was missed. I now believe that if post-operative examination is going to cause undue emotional distress, the person is not ready to have that operation. My peer support group assured me my abdominal discomfort was normal or simply stress caused by transphobia. There was never any encouragement to seek medical advice. During 2007, I underwent a psychiatric process to obtain approval for a bilateral mastectomy. In 2008, I reported to UBC Hospital at 7 a.m. for a bilateral mastectomy expected to be released at about 3 p.m. I had a reaction to the anesthetic. My post-operative recovery period should have been about a half an hour, and it lasted several hours. I was discharged later that evening. Early the following morning, I woke up in severe pain and agony. It felt like the left side of my breast was ripping off. I was taken to Vancouver General Hospital, and I had internal bleeding and was scheduled for emergency surgery. I waited a day and a half for that. Because of my earlier reaction to the anesthetic, they used a lighter sedative. I woke up on the operating table while they were closing up the incision. I was extremely scared, and I was going to get up and leave, and I was screaming obscenities at the hospital staff, so they knocked me out. When I came to the second time, they had me restrained. I was kept in the hospital for 2 nights. As a truck driver, wearing a seatbelt is still painful and uncomfortable because of scar line adhesions and keloid scarring. In 2009, I'm still experiencing pain and discomfort in my abdominal area, and I eventually seek medical intervention. I go to the emergency room. In 2009, within an hour of arriving at Vancouver General Hospital, I was operated on for an abdominal abscess. The abdominal pain and discomfort I had been experiencing after my hysterectomy were symptoms of an abscess formation. They were manifestations of transphobia. Over the next year, I was on several courses of antibiotics. I was unable to work for a year, and today I no longer have complete control of my bodily functions. Late in 2010, my world came crashing down. I realized that despite everything I've done to surgically and chemically alter my appearance, I will never be a man. What I do today is my nieces, my nephews, my younger cousins all call me Kellie, they call me she, they refer to me as their aunt. I'm a transition writer. Childhood is a time of fantasy and daydreams of once upon a time and happily ever after. If an adult like me can become completely entranced by the ideology that says I can live my real life as a man, what chance do children have? And I guess queer theory and gender ideology are concepts that are difficult for me to understand. What chance does a little boy or a little girl in first grade have to stand up against a teacher and say, "Oh, Johnny, you have long hair, so we know that you're a little girl, and it's okay for you to have your girl name here at school because this is a safe place." And that's what children are facing, just because they're different. Thank you.